Hello everyone. My name is Avivsha Guha, and today we are going to start our journey into data analytics. Before we dive into the technical stuff like what is data, tools, and analytic techniques, we will first discuss some of the basic concepts and idea that actually might not seem directly related to data analytics, but we are very important. Like that, very topics are very much important for building a strong foundation. Okay. So we will be deeping dive into them in details and eventually cover all of the sectors one by one. So before that, let me just present my screen, like share my screen to showcase the details. Okay. Okay, so hopefully my screen is visible to you. So this all are the topics that we will be covering up. So today's agenda is basically related to the data analytics fundamentals, real life data analytics with the example, like real life examples we will be seeing over. Then coming down to the terminologies that will be related to data analytics, types of data, levels of measurement, types of variables, sampling versus populations, coming down to data life cycle and roles of analytics in business. So let's dive into each of the topic in deeper so that we can understand each of this in a better way and can gain valuable insights from it. Okay, let's just move into our first topic that is data analytics fundamentals. Okay, so coming down here, so the data analytics, we will be just explaining things and also writing down at the same like same moment so that things are easy and more engaging. Okay, so we will be doing about data analytics, fine. So this data analytics, if I am saying it like that, let me just zoom it a bit for you. Yes, hopefully these things are visible to you, right? Okay. So it is data analytics. So it comprises of two words specifically, that is data plus analysis, right? So we will be first deep dive into the term that is data. So data. So what is exactly data? So data equal to information. Okay. So what is information? Like a small piece of information is equivalent to data. Okay. Now let's take some of the examples for easy understanding. Example, if we are saying like maybe your height, or I can say about my height because I am taking some of the details from here. So my height. So if I am saying my height is 156 centimeter, right? So this is what it is. This is the data that we are getting. Just yes. So what is this? This is actually my data. Got that? Coming down to the next, suppose I am asking about the marks. Marks. So what is the mark? So suppose anyone is telling, right? It is 92 out of 100. This is the marks this person has achieved. So this is what a data is. Like this is the data actually. Like because this is a small information. This is a very small piece of information we can say. So what is your marks? The person is saying that I have got 92 out of 100. So this is an information that I have received from the person about his marks. So it is a data. Now coming down to the number of suppose in the number format, so number of anything, maybe chocolates that I have eaten. So let's say number of chocolates. So if I am giving the answer to be three chocolates I have eaten today, so that is also a data. Okay, so that comes under a data. So similar way, many things we can see like about the temperature today. So if anyone is asking what is the temperature today, and I am giving a specific answer, so that is coming down in a data. Like how many friends I have in my from my school days. So if I am asking this kind of question, getting a relevant answer that actually gives me the data. Okay. So basically, data is equal to fact about something. What is data? So that data, basically, we are calling data equal to that is the facts about something. Okay. So this is the part that we have discussed about data. Now from the data analytics, the data part we have already discussed. Now we have this analytics or analysis part. Okay, so what is data analytics? In together, if we are answering this, data analytics is like using data to find answer. What is it? Using data to find answers. Okay, so suppose you can imagine that you have a big box of puzzle pieces. This puzzles, what I told, this puzzle pieces, right? This puzzle pieces is equal to data. Okay. Now, when you arrange them in a correct way and understand the picture, that is comprising, that is actually calling it as a data analysis. Okay. So you take this raw data, that is the messy and unorganized data, and turn that messy data into answers. That is the clean, meaningful answers. That is what data analysis is. So what I mentioned, like suppose in a case, like you are taking the raw data. So basically in this case, what I have explained about it, so the raw data that I told, okay, the raw data that I told, that is actually the messy and the unorganized data. Okay, the raw data that we are taking it, that is the messy and the unorganized data. And in turn, what we are getting after doing this analysis, we are getting the answers. What is the answers? We are getting the answers. So what is this answers? Answers are the clean and meaningful results. Okay, so this is all about the data analytics. So let us just rewind everything and understand each of this a bit details. So data analytics, it is having two specific words, data and analysis. What is data? Data is the piece of information. So we are calling data equal to information. Now, example. So in form of example, I am giving like any of like my height or your height. If I am giving a specific number, that is 156 centimeter is my height, that is a piece of information that I am giving. Coming down to marks, marks are like the exam scores or exam marks on a specific subject, maybe. So the person is telling, or I am telling, or anyone else can be telling the same answer, like this kind of answer. That is, the person has like got that is 92 out of 100, so that is another piece of information that the person is giving. Number of chocolates. This is the numerical data that I am getting. So this is another piece of information. So what exactly data is? Data is something like it is like the facts. There are the specific facts that I am getting about any specific thing or something we can call it. So that is the data. Coming down to analytics, what is data analytics? So, data analytics is equal to using the specific data that we have discussed as of now. to find the answer of specific things. Only the data, like only this messy, unorganized data doesn't reveal us anything, right? But when we are cleaning them and asking any of the proper question to this data, in return, if we are getting any of the proper and accurate answer, that is called the data analysis. Okay. So this is all about data analytics. Now we will be going to understand some of the in detail example so that it is easier for us to understand and get the things clear. Okay, so somewhat we will be discussing accordingly. Okay, so why do we need this data analytics? So I want to give you some example for that. Like this might be the question that is coming to your mind. That is, why do we need this data analytics, right? So because we, this data that we are talking of, this data actually helps us to make this better decision. Like any decision that I need to take, if I am taking that based on my data, that will be more fruitful to me, right? So this data analysis actually helps me to get and take better updates and better decisions. Okay. Now let's take some of the example for better analysis. Okay. Okay. So we are taking one example. So let's see what is the example. Like suppose there is a person who actually runs a chocolate shop. Okay. So now imagine that you have this, like you have owned this chocolate shop for a day. Okay. Now, what you want to know, like once you have come down to the shop, you want to know, like you are owning this shop for a day, you want to know which chocolate actually sells the most and what day is most like the busiest day for the shop, and do this kids who are coming down to the shop prefer this dark chocolate or milk based chocolate. Like this are the insights that you want to get, so that based on that you can sell it better, right? Your sales can be increased, or you can do a profitable kind of sales in that field, right? So for this, you are asking these questions, right? So you know all of this. How you know all of this? You need to check the data that you already have. How? The data that you are storing down of your sales, the sales number, the type of chocolate stocks that you are buying every day, whose sales are more, and the time the people are actually buying the product, right? So by analyzing all this field, you'll be able to generate some useful insights that will help you to take it accordingly. Okay, so this is an example I discussed with you. Let's discuss about another example. So let's just note it down first. So we have taken the first example of this chocolate shop. Next, coming down, we have the example of cricket match. Okay, so suppose if your team, you are working, like you are a part of a cricket team and your team wants to win, and like how you want to win. In that case, whoever your coach is, they will just check some of the details, like the historical details that is based on you people, like how many, like you people are having, like in the team, some of the data the coach will be checking, like how many runs each players are scoring in the past matches. Coming down, who is the good bowler, what is the record of this person in the previous matches, who is a good fielder, what is the number of catches this fielder has taken down in the previous or the historical matches, who they have played accordingly. Now coming down, these are the questions that would be uh, the coach of the match will be, like the coach of the team will be checking. So he will be using all this data to choose the best players, right? And from the best players, he will form a better team from with these players. So this is all about the cricket match coming down the hours of studies. Right? So the hours you have actually studied, so that will exactly affect the score. Sometimes it is not, but majority times it is about the studying part, right? So which subject you scored well, then which subject you need to improve, how much time you studied throughout the week. So all this actually tells you how to score better the very next time, right? So this all are the part of analytics. Now coming down to the next. So the next is the steps of analytics. Okay. So the steps of analytics, the very first step that we will be discussing, that is collecting data. Okay, so collecting data is like the simply like finding clues, right? If the detective have to solve a case, he have to first find the clues, understand everything, and then find the clues. So this data collection is similar to finding the clues. So you will be gathering all information that would be required to you to do the analysis, right? For example, here collecting the example, you can tell like collecting data that in that case, the examples you can get about the sales record, the food you ate last week, this kind of like data you need to collect first. Over those, you will be doing the analysis, right? So the very first step of analysis is collecting the data. The second step is clean data or the cleaning the data. Okay. So there might be some of the rows, columns that are missing, wrongly filled. Next, there might be some of the duplicates, many might be some of the repetitions, then some of there is messy data. So you need to remove all of this, like all of the mistakes that are there, you need to remove it and make it fresh so that it can be used for further analysis, right? So, what are the mistakes that can happen, right? So, suppose you are telling that your height is uh, around suppose 1000 centimeter, you are telling, right? But that is not possible, right? So, you need to clean that and make it to the exact. The size, like the height can be around 120 to or 120 or 130 centimeter or maybe also 100 centimeter, right? So that we have to check accordingly. Like this data, this 1000 centimeter, that is a that is an outlier. That is not the correct one, right? That is not possible for a human being. So that needs to be checked accordingly. Now, after cleaning the data, the very third stage, that is analyzing the data. Okay, so analyzing data, that is, this means uh, like understanding about the data and getting some of the valuable insights. Like if I am asking the question like which number is bigger, which number is smaller, what happened again and again, this kind of information, if I want to get from the data, it will be able to give it, right? So, like let us just take an example for better analysis. So here. Okay, let's just take it here. Okay, so let's take the example of subjects and marks, right? Now, in the subject list, if I am putting like maths and the marks achieved, that is 95, coming down to English, the marks achieved is 85, Next, we have the science. The marks achieved is 92. Next, we have the suppose Hindi subject, and the marks achieved is 70. And computer science and computer, the marks achieved is 96. Right. So based on the analysis, you can definitely tell like the math marks is 95, English marks is 85, science marks is 92, Hindi marks is 70, computer is 96. So just by since the data is short, just by seeing the numbers and the subject, you can definitely get some of the insights. So what are the insights? Like the basic insights you might get. The insight, the very first insight that you will be getting that the student is best at computer subject, performed best in computer. Right? So this is the very first insight that we will be receiving. The second insight that we will be receiving that the student have the lowest marks in Hindi, there is the scope of improvement here. Students, student need to improve in Hindi subject. Okay, so these are the basic insight. There might be other insight that we can get, like there are only around 85, right? So it is like 15 marks less that has English subject. In English subject, the student has received around 15 marks less according to if the total marks we are considering as 100. So the student has performed more or less good in all of the subject except Hindi because here the students need improvement because if we are comparing the marks of Hindi with the other subjects, in that case this number is a bit lower inside, like in the lower side. So that is the way. So this is the three steps of data analysis. The very first stage is data collection, collecting your data. Next is cleaning the data. And then final step is analyzing the data. Okay. One more step we can include with the analysis that is visualizing the data. Okay. So what does visualizing the data means, right? So we as a humans actually understand the pictures better than the numbers. Now here we have this numbers, math, English, science, Hindi, computer. Since the numbers are less, since the numbers like this data is small, so we have just looked into it and got some of the possible insight that student perform best in computer, student need to improve in Hindi. So this kind of insight we have already got, right? Now let's check if we need to just go ahead for like going down for visualization, what we can do. We'll go down to insert like here. So we'll check on any of the bar charts. So we'll do one. So we have got the bar chart also. Let's just do it like this. Okay. Okay. Now I have given like this. I don't want. Let's just remove this. Now I have got the like whatever be the numbers that we have got. I have now plotted them using like just plotted them, right? So once I have plotted them here, just by seeing the details, you will be able to understand like among this, computer, the marks is 96 and it has performed the best. The lowest has been from Hindi. The second most lowest that is coming down from English. And the second highest is coming down from math. First is computer, second is math in terms of the highest marks that the student has achieved, and the lowest marks achieved in Hindi, and the second lowest that is the English mark. So from here, we can definitely understand the student is a bit lower, like getting the lower marks in case of this arts-based subjects, like any of the languages. The student needs to improve in his language subjects like English language, Hindi language. Also coming down to the science-based subjects like the science, maths, or computer, that is the technicality of the students is better than the art side of the art side of the student. Okay, so this is all about the data analytics. Okay, so after this, we have got this data analysis. Then we have to visualize. This is the way we have to visualize the data. Next, coming down, we need to make a proper decision. Okay, so what is this proper decision? Let's just, okay. Make proper decision. What does it tells about making the proper decision? Like we need to use this answer to take some of the actions, right? So since from this data we have got like Hindi subject, the student actually got a lesser marks, that is 70 in respect to the other subjects. So the student should study an extra hour, should input or give extra time or in studying a Hindi subject. Next, he needs to practice writing Hindi because there might be the issue with the writing in the exam. There might be like issue in reading Hindi properly while answering the question. So this might be the decisions that we can take to improve the marks of Hindi. Okay. Next, coming down to the next topic, that is data types, like the types of data. Okay, so types of data. So there are two main types of data. Okay, the very first one is the numbers. Okay, numbers that we are calling it as the quantitative data. Quantitative data. Okay, so numbers, that is the quantitative data. So everything that is measurable or countable is coming under this, right? So example wise, we can see about age. If I am saying like my age is 24, so my age is 24, so that is the count that I can take. Okay, coming down to March. So if the marks is 96, so that is a number. 96 is a number. So that actually is countable, right? And also measurable. Like if I'm saying that the person or the student have got 96 out, 96 out of 100, so that is measurable. Like what up to how much the person has performed in the exam. Now coming down to the price. If the price is around like 50 rupees, like that. Okay. Next, next is around like height. So 150 centimeter. Next is the goal scored in any of the football match. So maybe three. So this all are the example of quantitative data. Quantitative, that is the numbers based data. Okay. Next is the word. Next is words. So that is qualitative data. Okay. So what is this qualitative data? Like the things that we can actually describe. Things we can describe. Okay. So this coming under words, that is quantitative data. So for example, if I need to see that is the color of your shirt. So if I am giving the answer to be blue, so my answer is coming down in a textual or a word. It's a word format or text format, right? So that is actually giving me a specific word, right? Next coming down, what is your name? Name. So I'm giving my name. It's Abhipsha, right? So if I am giving the name like that, so it is actually giving me some of the insight, like some of the understanding, right? If I am asking about the weather, so my answer would be sunny or rainy. This kind of answer I can give, right? So these are the insights that this are the types of data. Like first one, there are two main types of data, that is the new quantitative data and the qualitative data. So quantitative data, that is the number based data. So for this we have got the examples like age, marks, price, then height. These are the examples of quantitative data. Coming down to qualitative data, that is the words based. So words based, like any of the things that can be able to describe with the help of words, like coming down to the color of the shirt, that is blue in color. What is my name? My name is Abhipsha. What is the weather currently? It might be sunny weather, so I'll call it like weather. How the weather is, I'll call it sunny. Next, if I am telling like what type of chocolate I like to or I prefer to eat, so I'll just say I love dark chocolates. So this is all about the details that we have discussed about the types of data. Okay. Now we will be discussing of the tools that we can use in data analytics. Okay. So if we are coming down about the tools, the very first tool that we can discuss, that is the Excel, right? So Excel is just like a notebook for the numbers. So this is the Excel files. These are the Excel files you can think of. Like it is actually my Excel software, and this is the file. So it is like a notebook, okay? That there we can write down numbers, words, anything, right? So that is Excel. This is for the smaller data. Next, we have the next tool we will be using, that is Python. So this is for like handling big data. It's like what we call like if we need to handle very huge data, then we can definitely use Python. The third one that we can discuss that we'll be discussing or using, that is SQL. SQL is the database, so it's like the librarian who actually fetch the information from somewhere we are storing it. Okay, so that is SQL. Next, coming down, we will be using the like different type of visualization tools like Power BI, Tableau, all of this. Okay. And along with that, we will be also using this R programming. Okay. So next coming down all of this is like a minute fundamental about the data analysis. So we'll just take a review of everything, like in a shorter way. So, what is data analysis? In that case, the data analytics contains of two words, data and the analysis. Data is just like the information. Data is equal to information. And data analytics is like finding answer using the data. Okay. Now coming down the steps of data analysis, that is collection of the data, cleaning of the data, analysis of the data, visualizing the data, and finally taking smart and like smart decision based on the data. Okay, so this is the entire flow or the steps of data analytics. So now this is all about the data analytics. Now we'll take some of the real time example. Okay. So we know about YouTube, right? So why we use YouTube? Let's just discuss about real life examples. Okay, let's just okay. So the very first one, that is YouTube. So what we are doing in YouTube? So we are like, let me just do it exactly right. So YouTube, here we basically get the recommended video using our watch data, right? So we get recommendations, or it actually recommend the videos using my watch data, right? So how we are like how the YouTube is doing that, that we will be understanding. So how it recommends the video. So the YouTube watches what exactly you do, how actually you are surfing down in YouTube, which videos you are watching, which you are watching it fully, which you are leaving it half done like that, which you are liking. This kind of patterns the YouTube actually watches. So it remembers it, look for the patterns actually inside the data that you have like inside your watch data, and gives us the video that we will be probably liking in the next, right? So that is the entire task that it actually does. So majorly if I need to understand the in a sequential manner or the step that we have discussed in that way, so the very first stage or the very first step that we will be discussing, that is collecting data. Okay. So collecting data is like watching watching what or understanding what I am watching throughout my day in YouTube, or what exactly I am searching. Okay. So what is this collecting data? Suppose you clicked a video. Okay. You watch that video for 10 seconds or 5 minutes, or the entire video length, whatever be it, you have watched accordingly. You liked that video, you commented and also shared it, right? So you searched about some of the definite videos, about some of the definite videos, like you wanted to see some of the animated cats video, or you want to understand anything related to football tricks. So this all your search in the YouTube. Okay, you watch on your phone or on your tablet, and what time of the day you specifically stay active in YouTube. That is the exam, that is the part, right? So this are the data that it actually collects every day, right? Next is cleaning the data. Cleaning the data is fixing the messy part of the data. So it will be removing the weird entries. Like if the watch time is around, it says around 9,999, right? So that is an error, right? So it will be removing it and will mention it as 9 minutes or 9 seconds or 9 hours, whatever be it, it will be mentioning it like that. Next, it will be combine the duplicate records, and accordingly, if I am having the same records accordingly, I'll remove the first one. Next, I will be analyzing the data. The system will check which video actually we are looking more often. It will notices the pattern, like the people who watch the some specific kind of videos, like maybe any of the Lego tutorial, will often like to also see like uh, if anyone is building a castle out of Lego, so that video the person will also like. If anyone search or seeing videos based on this Lego tutorial, right? So next, after that, this comes down to the analysis part. Next, coming down to the visualization. Visualization, so you will get the each video gets a score for how likely you are supposed to click that based on your search. So it will sort the video from most likely to the least likely and will put the top ones in the home page. Okay. Next is the decision or the action. So based on that, the YouTube shows the top scored video at the top. Next, if you click on the video or watch them more, the system learns and shows the similar kind of pattern the next time when you'll be opening the YouTube. So this is the entire idea about YouTube. So stepwise, if I need to see, as I told the entire thing, so first stage is collecting, the second stage is cleaning the data, the third step is analyzing the data, the fourth step is visualizing the data, and the fifth stage is decision based on the data, based on the data. Okay. So this is how not only YouTube, Amazon, any of the e-commerce sites also give you recommendations based on your purchase or watch history, like which products you actually viewed, which products you actually saved in the in your wish list. This is the way they are actually giving you the recommendations. Also, this is true for Google Maps. So, how it actually finds the fastest route for you. So, these are the similar trends that it follows for Google Map. Now, coming down to like any of the hospitals, right? In any of the hospitals, how actually doctors this analyze medical data to find the disease, right? So, this is the part that we are actually taking in. Okay. So this is all about some of the real life examples that we need to cover up. Now we will be covering some of these basic terminologies that are related with the data analytics. Okay. The very first one is data. So we have already discussed about data. So what is data? It's like the piece of information. So data is equal to information or fact. Okay, so it actually gives us the examples, like it actually gives us some of the information or facts related to it. If we are supposed to give some of the examples of data, it's like the age, the marks, the height, any of the cartoon character that I like, any flavor of ice cream I actually like, the temperature that is there today. So this is the examples of the data. Like these are the examples of what exactly data is. So specifically, data is information or facts. Next, coming down, the second one is data set. What is data set? Data set is the collection of data. So basically, data set is the collection of the information or facts that we are talking about. Okay, so many pieces of data, when come together in a single place, we call it as the data set. Okay. So suppose we used to have the report card, right, in our school and college and universities days, right? So they are actually, the report card is the segregation of the information of the marks that we have achieved in all of the subjects. So that is an example of an exact data set, right? So we can call about the marks of all of the students in any of the specific class. That is come down in a specific, maybe an Excel sheet with the name, with the student ID, with the subject and the marks. So that is also coming down as a data set. Okay. The second one we need to understand, that is record, or we call it as row. Okay. So each row in the database is like a complete story, we can say. Like any of the record is exactly a single data. Like suppose if I am asking, I have got the data, or like the data set contains the marks of all of the students in different subjects, right? So in that case, the record is like this one record that I am talking about, or a row that is according like the anyone specific student's marks. So that we are calling as a record or any of the specific row. Next, coming down, we have this column, or we call it as column. Column, it is a type of information. What type of information basically? Like the maths marks, the English marks, the height, the age. Like let us take an example. I guess that would be better to understand as well. So I have the data set. So what is this data set all about? Student marks, students marks. Okay. Now, inside it, I am taking the values as like the columns as name, math, science, English, like that. Now I have the name of the student. The name of the student is suppose Ria. And another student, his name is Sam. Sam. So we have this name. So maths. So we'll take the marks of maths for Ria as 90. The marks of science is 88. The marks of English is suppose 92. Coming down for Sam, the marks of English is 80, the marks of science is 65, the marks of maths is 70. So this is my entire data set. Okay, so it contains many data. So many data, like many information. Ria, her marks, math marks is 90. So this is an information that we are storing here. Ria, her science marks is 88. This is another information that we are storing. Ria, her English marks is 92. So that we are also storing here. So more than one information in a single place, that we are calling as data set. So this is my data set. Now this record, the marks that Ria has achieved in all of the subjects like math, science, and English. This are actually my records. These are my records. This is specifically records or row we call. Now coming down to column. Column, what we call, this is a type of information like this. This is the type. This is my column, right? So this column will only contain the name of the student. This column will only contain the marks of maths. This column will only contain the science marks, the English marks, like this. So these are the columns and these are the rows. Rows are the records and the columns are the attributes, we call it. Now coming down, uh, after column, after column, the fifth one, fifth terminology, that is features or variable. Okay, so these are actually the things that we measure or described in the data, like the height, the weight, the age. This all are the attributes, or sorry, this all are the features, right? So this here, the marks of math, science, English, this are actually my features. So in simple words, features is equal to the columns used for understanding or predicting something. Okay, so this math, science, English, these are all my features. Next is the target. Target, or we call it as label. Okay, so the thing that we actually want to predict, suppose we want to predict the house price, right? So this house price is my target. So my house price, that would come down to the price that is my uh, that is my target. Next is diabetes. Like the we all know about diabetes. If the person is having diabetes or not, that I want to know, right? So then this diabetes is my target. So the result of the disease, diabetes disease, is the person having diabetes or not having diabetes is actually my target. So target is equal to like what you want to find. That is actually the target or the label. Next is data cleaning. It's like making the data that we have to make it neat and more correct. So why do we need this? Because my original data or my raw data is generally messy. So I need to do some of the cleaning over my data to remove the wrong values, to fix any of the spelling mistakes if that is there inside my data, filling the missing values, next removing the duplicates. This all are the parts that we need to understand. So that is the data cleaning. Next is data pre-processing. Okay, so what is this data pre-processing? Preparing the data so that my machine can understand it, right? Like if my data contains all of this categorical values, so my model or my machine won't be understanding, because the machine don't understand the textual data. They understand numbers better than the text, right? So the categorical data like male, female, yes, no, any of the specific name of the flowers, like if you can recall about the Irish data set, it contains three different type of flowers. That is the categorical data that my model won't be understanding, or if I am doing it accordingly, my system won't be and my machine won't be understanding, right? So they actually understand the names. So that's why I need to pre-process the data to make my data understandable to the machine. So for that, I do the encoding, encoding the words like one hot encoding, turning text into specific numbers, splitting the data into train and test format, then scaling the numbers, like making them similar in size. So these are the part that we actually do. Suppose for an example, if I need to give you, like if I am giving red, blue, and green, these are the uh, three words that I am having in a specific table, in a specific row of a specific table. Okay, and that data, this table is my data set actually. Okay, so now I need to turn this red, blue, green, this textual data into numbers. So I'll be assigning a specific number to each of this data. Suppose I can assign red. If anywhere red will be there, so it will be assigned as 0. Blue, it will be assigned with a number 1. Green with a number 2. So whenever in my data set I'll get red name, the term red will come, it will be assigned to 0. Blue, it will be assigning to 1. Green, it will be assigning to 3. So this is my data pre-processing. Okay. Next, coming down, we have the EDA, that is exploratory data analysis. EDA is exploratory data analysis. So this actually means exploring the data to understand the data accurately. So data understanding means finding the average, like the mean, checking which value is higher or lower, making similar graphs, finding the patterns using the visualization or anything that you can do. So that comes down in EDA. Next, the next step is data visualization. What is data visualization? As we discussed, like we are turning the numbers into pictures or graphs so that our brain can easily understand it. So we will be using different types of graphs like bar graphs, like pie charts specifically, linear chart, histogram. So this graph of suppose as we have plotted it before about the marks, right? This graph with the marks that actually makes it super simple and easy to understand accordingly which subject the person has performed well, like the student has performed well, and which subject the person or the student is weaker in, needs improvement in that subject, right? So that is about data visualization. Next terminology, it is pattern. Okay, so pattern is something that is happening like more than once, again and again, we can say, right? What is this pattern? Pattern is something that is happening again and again. Like it's like how much like more ice cream like are sold in the hotter days. As you have got this trend, like this ice creams are more sold on the hotter days because people like tries to find this like in the extreme hot day they tends to feel cool from inside, so they have a better tendency of having ice creams more often, right? So that is a pattern. Next is correlation. So what is correlation? To when two things are how these two things are connected, that is actually giving us the correlation. So if the size or the height of a person is actually mattering with the shoe size of the person, that actually is correlated or not. Now, sales of ice cream with the rise in temperature outside, that is also correlated. Like they are actually like with this rise in temperature, the sales of the ice cream also increases, right? So they are correlated, right? Now, if someone having a white hair or a burgundy color hair, that person is not like that person is getting the marks with compared to the color of the hair, that is actually not correlated, right? Because there is no relation between the hair color of a person with the marks that the person has received, right? So that is not correlated. So the types of correlation are three. There is positive correlation, that is both are going up. Like if the ice cream sales is increasing, the temperature is increasing, the update would be that the ice cream sale will also increase. So there is a positive correlation. Negative, like one goes up and the other goes down, right? Like if the temperature increases more, the ice will melt more easily, right? So that is a positive to negative, like that is a negative kind of trend, you can say. Like with the rise of temperature, the ice will melt more quickly, right? So that is a kind of negative, that is if the temperature is going high, the other is going down, right? Next is zero, that is there is no correlation at all. Negative correlation also, that is not correlated, like not correlated, there is no relationship at all. Negative is not similar to zero, right? Negative is one going up and the other goes down, but zero is there is no relation at all. They are poles apart, so there is no proper relationship between the two things that we are calling accordingly. Okay. So these are about some of the terminologies that we have discussed. The rest we will be discussed later in the next session accordingly. So as of now, we have for today's session, we have gone ahead, discussed about some of the basics about data analytics. What is data? What are the data analytics steps? What are the examples of data analytics in real life? Also, we have seen the steps of data analytics. What is the importance of visualization that we have understood? Like types of data we have discussed, that is quantitative data and the qualitative data. What are the tools that we generally use in data analytics that we have discussed? Then we have understand about the like the real time working of YouTube, how they are actually recommending the videos to the user based on their watch history, based on their likings, their likes, their comments, their shares over a video. So based on that, how they are recommending the videos. Next, we have discussed about 12 terminologies related to data analytics. So in next session, we will be continuing from here and we'll be discussing other terminologies related to the data analytics. Then we have to discuss about the types of data, level of measurements. Then we have to understand the different types of variables, sampling and population, data life cycle, and the roles of analytics and business. All of this we will be covering in the upcoming session. So this is the entire agenda. There are other things to do as well, but as of now, these are the agenda for upcoming sessions. Eventually, we will be covering up the like telling the other covered topics accordingly. Once we are completing this, we will be moving to the next accordingly. Okay. So thank you, everyone. We are good to wrap up the session for today. We'll connect accordingly in the next session. Thank you.